All right. What's going on, everybody? This is Clarence Jr. breaking down the Bulldogs. So we got a lot to get into, and I'm gonna try to get it all done by 9:35 tops. So we gotta get straight to it. First of all, the Bulldogs finally opened up their listen. Don't worry about this, man. Listen, we saw what happened. It is what it is. It is what it is. But listen, they're gonna bounce back. But we're not here to talk about the NFL. We're here to talk about the Bulldogs and the CIAA. And let me tell you straight up, the Bulldogs opened up the season on the road with a win. That was a very important thing to see. Very important. Especially when you look at last season, a lot of the issues that we had were on the road. And so we're going to talk about that. But before we get too deep into it, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, for those of you who have not seen it, we're going to get straight into the highlights, the big plays from the game. Then we're going to move on to some other things. But first, let's go ahead and start with that. All right.
Wildcat. This is Begley. Nowhere to go, and he fumbled the football. It's ripped out of his hands by Samuel Graham, and he's gone. Touchdown. Pumps. Pressure, throwing. That one's picked. Near side. It's Elijah McKenzie. Still on his feet inside the 30.
All right. So there we go. We got a lot of other plays we're going to get into, but we're going to start with that. So those were the big plays. You saw the touchdowns, the interceptions, the forced fumbles, return for touchdowns. And so we're going to start off with the positive. So I'm going to momentarily stop sharing the screen because I'm going to bring up the stats, right? We saw what happened. We know the final score. We know Bowie State won the game. Let's get into the numbers. Let's talk about why Bowie State won this game. So, once again, I always tell you, we start off positive. Start off with the positive. All right, I'm going to even make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. So let me put myself down here. All right, so as you can see, the main reason Bowie State won the game, I would say, was, first of all, we forced 2 turnovers and didn't have a turnover, even though we tried our best to have some, but we're going to get into that. Positive, staying positive. Why did Bowie State win the game? Started off, forced 2 turnovers, didn't turn the ball over. Second of all, balanced on offense. We had 16 first downs, 8 rushing, 7 passing. Balanced. Why else did we win the game? We ran for 200 yards. They take away sack yards and things like that, but we ran for 200. The net turned out to be 145. We had 43 rushing attempts. We were committed to running the football. That helped. Passing, efficient. Think about this. 43 rushing attempts, only 19 passing attempts. But off of 19 passing attempts, we got 140 yards, and of course, we got the 1 passing touchdown over 12 yards of completion. That's good. All right. Total offense, we were just under 300 yards. All right. Why else did we win the game? Time of possession. We won time of possession. Then you look at 3rd and 4th down. We converted 8 of 18, which is not great. Needs to be better, but it is what it is. We'll get into that. So ultimately, what happened? Over the past 2 years, Bowie State has been working on an identity, working on a blueprint, in my opinion, if you ask me. And that has been possessing the football, running the football, and passing when it makes sense. There are times when it makes sense to throw it 20, 25 times, and there are times when it makes sense to run it 35, 40 times. Establishing the run is very important in football in general, but especially in Division II football, in the CIAA. And so Bowie State has been committed to running the football. We have very two good running backs in Maximus Jones and Micah Robinson. So it makes perfect sense to run that rock. And we were committed to doing that. So let's go ahead and get into the individual statistics, right? So we see Malachi Anthony was 12 for 19, 140 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. We'll get into Malachi Anthony and, the starting quarterbacks. We're going to talk about that, but we'll get there. But here we see Micah Robinson, 16 attempts for 84 yards. Maximus Jones, 14 attempts for 67 yards. One's averaging 5 yards a carry. The other one's averaging 4.5 a carry. There we go. That's what we need. We also see Challenger Valentine, 6 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. We see we got several other guys with at least 1 reception. That's the positive. Now, let me go back over here and show you guys a few of the good plays that we had that weren't touchdowns. Some things that jumped out to me were, once again, establishing the running game. So let me go ahead and I pushed the wrong button. Let me go ahead and pull that back up. I think this is another. Okay, so there we go. There you go. Those are some things that jumped out that were very positive. There was also a few completions that I had captured, but we'll get into that on a different time. So those were the positives. Got a road win in the non-conference. Pounded the rock on the ground. Fairly efficient in the passing game. Strong defensively. Now here are the issues, and I'll bring up the stats for that as well. There were a few problems or a few issues, few things that need to be cleaned up. The first thing, and let me go back to the stats. I'm going to pull that up. Let me go back to the stats. Few issues here. Let's look at this. Granted, Shippensburg was down the majority of the game, and they did throw it almost 40 times, right? But at the same time, that's not a very good team. Can't allow them to get 270 yards passing. Can't allow it. Now, once again, they were down, so they were passing the majority of the game. And on the bright side, they were shut down in the run. Only 50 yards total. Even if you take away the sack yards, they only gained 60 total. So they shut down the run. But once again, a little bit too many passing yards. And that goes back to the next thing that I think, we got to be on the lookout for. Not enough pressure generated consistently. I think we had, as a matter of fact, I got the stats right here. I think we had 1 sack and 2 QB hits. That's something that has to work. We have to be able to get to the quarterback more often. Yes, the quarterback was only sacked once, and there were 2 other hurries, but we weren't able to get home nearly enough. If we're going to, that's something that jumps out. We have to be able to get home a lot more often than we did. Now, once again, it's the first game, so it makes sense. The next issue that I saw, something that has to get cleaned up, was the penalties. This is you cannot consistently win against even a halfway decent team when you have 13 penalties. You can't do it. You cannot win with 13 penalties consistently. Once again, it wasn't nearly the amount of shooting yourself in the foot and the issues that we saw last season, but it was still far too many for a team to make if you want to beat anybody that's halfway decent. You can't have situations where guys are not lining up where they're supposed to be lining up. Delays of game, offsides, sideline violations, unsportsmanlike conducts for celebrating because you want to do a backflip into the end zone. Those things can't happen. Think about if you're playing a good team and you get a strip, you get a strip fumble return for a touchdown, but you flip into the end zone and guys on the sideline are too excited and they cross the sideline. So you have a sideline violation and a taunting penalty. And so now the extra point is 30 yards longer and you miss the extra point, which is what happened, but you're playing a good team and you actually need that point. These are things that can't happen. Guys not lining up where they're supposed to line up. That things that can't happen. 13 penalties. You can't have 13 penalties against and I'm talking about like teams that are competing for championships. You can't have 13 penalties against Johnson C. Smith, Virginia State, Virginia Union, or the opponent next week that we're going to get into. Delaware State can't have 13 penalties on the road against them. That just can't happen. Now, the elephant in the room. All spring, we've been talking about Kevin Taylor. Kevin Taylor's ready. Kevin Taylor's ready. Kevin Taylor, he's going to do this. Kevin Taylor, he's going to do that. And I pull up to Shippensburg. I get the program, and I still have it. And I see two quarterbacks listed. And Kevin Taylor is not one of them. Not only that, I see Kevin Taylor fully dressed with the helmet on, but he's not in the program. Then the game starts. Kevin Taylor is not in the game. But I see him walking around, presumably 100% healthy. So immediately I'm thinking, what on earth is going on? That's the first thing I'm thinking. Where is Kevin Taylor? He's fully healthy. He's fully dressed. Why is he not playing? Why is he not even listed as one of the two active quarterbacks? See? And that's when I started. That's when I started thinking. I said, see, if this is a discipline issue, that's alarming. I'm gonna keep it all the way real without saying too much. But what I thought to myself was, first of all, I thought, if this is a discipline issue, this is alarming. Because you cannot find yourself in a situation where you are not playing for disciplinary reasons on the first game of the season. That can't happen, number one. But number two, and I'm not going to say two, listen, this is not the first time that, what do I want? Do I want to, I'll put it like this. I'm going to make a general statement. It's generally not a good thing when a player that you are relying on has multiple disciplinary issues in multiple seasons. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm just saying in general. In general, a championship team or a team that has championship aspirations, they are generally not relying upon individuals in key roles that have more than one disciplinary infraction. I'll say that. I'm also going to say this just to be clear. I do not know why Kevin Taylor did not play. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from anybody, just to be 100% clear. But what I do know is that he was anticipated to be the starting quarterback this year and to have a very good year. And what I do know is that he was fully healthy and dressed in Shippensburg, but he was not in the program and he did not play. That's what I do know. And that is an issue. That was the first thing I thought. The next thought I had was this. What can I find on this Malachi, and make sure I get his name right. What can I find on Malachi Anthony? Who is this young man? How much experience does he have? And do we need to be concerned? That was my second thought. Right? And so I said, let me double back and look at his bio one more time. Right? So I went back, I looked at it again, and I said, okay, this is a young brother who is older, has been around a little bit more, has actually had some playing experience, a decent amount of playing experience, right? Because there's some guys who will come down to D2 from a D1 and they were at a bigger school, but they never played. They were on the team, but they never got in games. In this situation, this young man has played a decent amount of football at quarterback at Merrimack. All right. So I said, okay, this is a young brother who did play at the Division I level, who does have some stats. Okay, let's see. And I'll be real. I saw some good things. I saw some good passing, some arm strength, some anticipatory throws, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. If you weren't there, if you didn't watch the whole stream, if you don't have all the different camera angles, I'm going to tell you something. There were some things that took place in this game that definitely have to be cleaned up going forward. Now, once again, it's game one. It's his first time playing. I don't know when he knew he was going to play. But, you know, it's game one and new system, new team, all of that. So, okay, I understand. But I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to say it like this. If Malachi is going to be the guy, and sidebar, musical chairs at quarterback does not work. You gotta pick a guy and you gotta roll with it. We're not in practice every day. We don't know the team dynamics. We don't know any of those things. So, hey, whatever the staff rolls with, that's what they roll with. All I'm saying is, I just hope and pray that they pick someone and roll with it. Trying to do, we're gonna play both guys and see who does this, and this person's going to get a couple of series, or this person's going to get a quarter. That don't work. We did some of that last year, and all the games that we did that in, it did not go well. You got to pick a guy, and you got to roll with it. That's all. So I don't know who's starting at Delaware State. I have no idea. All I'm gonna say is whoever you start, that you got to roll with them. They just got that's the guy. Whoever starts, that's who it is. It can't be, he played the first quarter. I'm not really sure. Let's put no. That don't work. But there were some things. Now, once again, this is first time playing at Bowie State, so I understand it. But there are some things that I saw from Malachi that were alarming. I'm gonna be real with you. There was a certain level of just lack of security with the ball that was like, whoa. If this wasn't Shippensburg, we'd be in trouble. If this was anybody else, we might have been in trouble. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let me pull this up. There were a few things I'm like, listen, we can't have it. You can get away with certain things against Shippensburg, but there are certain things you can't do that against nobody else and expect to win. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. Let me try and go back a few seconds. Let's see. All right, here we go. Let's check this out. Matter of fact, let me slow it down a little bit. All right, we're going to go 0.75. All right, let's check this out. So first of all, listen, if you don't see anything by now, you got to throw it out or you got to run. You got to make a decision. You got to make it now. That's number one. But okay, let's see what happens. You can't do that. You cannot lose the ball like that on this side of the field. Let me go back a little bit. You can't do that. You can't. That can't happen. That cannot happen. You can't do that. That was one. All right, the ball slipped out of his hand. That does happen sometimes. It can't happen, but it does happen sometimes. Now this right here, and this sidebar. This is another example of what I mean by just mistakes on the road. Right. At this point in time, it's either 7-0 or 13-7. I think it's 13-7 late in the second quarter. Shippensburg has just scored. The game is still, it's a one-score game. So all 4,000 of them are still there. They just scored, so they hype, they loud, they thinking they got a chance to win the game. And what do? They kick the ball off. It's just small things like this. They kick the ball off. The receiver, the returner, not only does he not let the ball go through the end zone, but he drops the ball. He tries to pick it up and return it. It doesn't. This is why we have the ball right here on the 5-yard line, because the returner made a mistake. That's what happened, right? So mind you, it's 4,000 people here. They brought 500 freshmen in and made a whole student section. So they hype and they rowdy, right? They just scored. It's a one-possession game. They think they got a chance to get a win finally. We're on the 5-yard line. Right before that, it's like 2.5 minutes until halftime, and this is what happens. Well, let me stop it right here. If you don't see anybody right now, you got to go. Straight up, you have to go. You know you are 3 yards into the end zone. You know that. You got to go. You don't see it. It's not there. Take off. You did not let the ball go. You're about to give up a safety. That's bad. But you know what's worse than giving up a safety right here? Somebody help me out. Do you know what's worse than the safety right here? A pick six. The only thing worse than the safety right here is a pick six, right? Why? Listen. Why on earth would you do that? First of all, if it's nobody in the area, including a defender, it's intentional grounding, which is a safety anyway. But if there is a defender in the area, guess what happens? Look, this is a gift. This is a gift. If this is anybody other than Shippingsburg, it is a pick six. Next thing you know, we're going into the half, down 14-13. And once again, why are we going down 14-13? Because there was an excessive celebration penalty and a sideline penalty that made the extra point move back 30 yards. And then we missed it. So we tried our hardest to go into the halftime down to Shippingsburg, of all people. But luckily for us, it's Shippingsburg. So guess what happens? Of course, he drops it. Let me go back, man, because this is a gift. Look at this. It's not there. Take it off. Go. Don't do that. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. I'm standing there with my phone. I'm sitting there recording this like I know good and damn well he did not just throw a pick six right before the half. Because I'm thinking there's no way he's going to drop this. He threw up a dud. He's definitely about to catch this and run it back to. Luckily for us, Butterfingers didn't catch the ball. Right? As if that wasn't bad enough, let's look at the next play. My Lord. We almost gave him a pick six, right? At this point, I'm like, listen, man, let's just take a knee and go to halftime. Or let's hand the ball off and go into the half. We up 13-7. We trying to give them a turnover. Let's just go to the half, but we drop back. And let's check this out right here. Listen. Once again, if this is anybody other than Shippingsburg, man, I don't know. You clearly did not see him right there. Let's play that again. We tried our hardest to get them back in the game. Listen. I mean, listen, man. And so that's all I'm saying. I'm saying the young man can play. The young man is talented. He has good arm strength. He has some good mobility. But man, he got away with a lot because it was Shippingsburg. You can't do that next week. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, listen, I understand. First time playing with Bowie. First time playing under the system, this coaching. First time playing with these receivers. I don't know when you were told you were going to all that stuff, so I understand. And, we got away with it this week, so it is what it is. I'm just saying, going forward, Mr. Anthony is going to have to be a lot more careful with the football. I'm also saying we had a good day running. We got to run the ball more effectively early. Because it took us some time to get the running game going. We got to get it going a little bit earlier in the future. I'm also saying 13 penalties. That can't do that. Can't do that. All right? So, That wraps up Shippensburg. Now let's talk about Delaware State. It's actually interesting when you look at Delaware State because Delaware State plays a similar type of football that we do. Delaware State wants to run the ball all day long. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you the statistics from Saturday. Delaware State under Deshaun Jackson, their first win. His first win as a head coach. Listen. Delaware State ran for 436 yards. 436 yards. Now, when you take away the sack yards and the yards lost, they still had 300. The net was 369 yards. Here's the kicker, though. 59 attempts. Delaware State is going to run the football all day, every day, until you stop it. And even if you stop it, they're going to keep running it. They want to run the football. They brought in the quarterback from Sacramento State. Apparently, they didn't bring him in to throw. 60 attempts. 60. 379 yards. 5 touchdowns. 6 yards per rush. They don't just run with the running back. They run the option with the quarterback. They run it a lot. That's what they do. They run the football. That's what they do. Think about it. They did have 30 passing attempts. So when you think about this though. Delaware State, they run the ball and they possess the ball. 59 rushing attempts and 30 passing attempts is how many plays? They essentially ran 90 plays in this game. Why? Because let's look at time of possession. Third, they had the ball for 12 more minutes, almost an entire quarter longer than Albany. That's what they do. They run the ball and they possess the ball. They run it with the running back. They run it with the quarterback. I'm going to just be real. If we cannot stop the run, we have no chance. I know that sounds basic and obvious, but it's even more so this week. Because Delaware State is going to run the football. I just showed you they had 90 plays. What was it? 50, 60 of them were runs? What does that say? Let me go back. Yes, 60 rushing attempts in one game. That's insane. I ain't gonna lie to you. 60 rushing attempts in one game. If they don't stop the run, it's gonna be a long day in Dover. That's all I can tell you. You have to stop the run. And once again, it's not just the running back. It's the option play with the quarterback. The quarterback tucks in and runs a lot. Basically, this game is going to be a battle of wills. Because Bowie State and Delaware State want to do the same thing. They want to run the ball and possess the ball. Delaware State won time of possession by almost an entire quarter. They ran about 90 plays. 60 of them were rushes. You go back and you look at Bowie State. Bowie State ran. Let me look at it again. Bowie State had a total of, let's see, 19 passing attempts, 43 rushing attempts. That's 53. That's 62. Of 62 plays, 43 were rushes. First of all, 63 is not enough against Delaware State unless we're possessing the ball for long periods of time. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not Shippensburg. You can't give them 90 plays. You cannot give them 60 rushing attempts. That can't happen. You can't allow them to possess the ball for almost an entire quarter longer than you. That ain't going to work. I mean, just look at this. Here's where Delaware State is vulnerable, though. Albany State only possessed the ball for 20 minutes, but they scored 32 points. Albany State threw 4 passing touchdowns. So Delaware State is vulnerable through the air in the secondary. They gave up 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. 15 yards of completion. Also, Delaware State has a similar problem that we have. They had 14 penalties for 114 yards. You look at Delaware State on third and fourth down. A combined 7 of 19. So it's actually very simple. Like, so let's look at the stats. You guys look at who you have to stop. Marquise Gillis, 163 yards. Then the quarterback had 137 yards. Then Jaden Jenkins, he threw in another 84. They want to run the ball. The quarterback had 3 rushing touchdowns. That's what they do. They are going to run the ball with the running backs and the quarterback nonstop until you stop it. That's what's going to happen. Shout out, look at Shawan Lewis. Hold on. Why was Shawan Lewis running the ball? I don't know, but shout out to Shawan Lewis, man. Why was he running the ball, though? I know he's not playing running back, is he? Hold on. That don't make sense. Why is Shawan Lewis on here for a rushing attempt? That don't make sense. But okay, shout out to Shawan, man. But seriously, that's what's going to happen. Got to stop the run. Got to be safer with the ball with the quarterback. Got to make more decisive decisions. Got to make a little bit more wiser decisions. Got to be tighter with the ball. Got to cut back on the penalties. You got to be disciplined in your assignments because that quarterback will pull the ball and run it. That's mostly what he did in this game. 13 attempts for 137 yards. Then the main running back, 163. 436 rushing yards. Once again, 60 attempts. That's what they're going to do. But once again, here's where they're vulnerable. They gave up 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. no picks, no sacks. So they have issues getting to the quarterback as well. And they have issues in the secondary. It's real simple. If Bowie State's going to win the game, they're going to have to, number one, pick a quarterback, stick with the decision. Number two, the quarterback has to be smart with the football. Number three, they're going to have to establish the run, possess the ball. And number four, listen, you're not going to stop Delaware State from running the ball, but you got to slow it down. You can't let the quarterback get 3 touchdowns and 150. That can't happen. Also, Marquise, he can't get 160. No, listen. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit worried just because I've seen us. Now, granted, this is a brand new year. But I've seen us over the past 2 years have issues stopping the run, namely Jada Byers, right? So this is going to be a huge test. Because trust me, just like I know we've had issues stopping the run the past few years, they know that as well. And they're not even, if I was them, I wouldn't even attempt to throw a pass until you prove you can stop the run. This is going to be a test. This is going to be a huge test. And it's not even necessarily about, winning or losing, although it's nice to win. But I'm really looking at, okay, what are we doing at quarterback? Are we effective at quarterback? Can we cut the penalties in half? And can we contain the run reasonably? That's it. If we can handle those things, I'll be very confident going into CIAA play week 3 and beyond. But like I just said, listen, man, a lot of the stuff that we got away with against Shippensburg, that was because it was Shippensburg. You could have walked Shippensburg to a victory. They would still would have found a way to lose. This is a different situation. But hey, I'm looking forward to it. I think the Bulldogs are up to the challenge. I'm more, quarterback is going to work itself out. I believe that. Quarterback's going to work itself out. Whatever they choose, the coaching staff, I got faith in their decision. They're going to make the right decision. I'm not worried about that. What I am a little bit worried about, stopping that run. Because I've seen us the last couple of years against the run. So we're gonna see. But I appreciate y'all for coming out. Hey man, if you see me Saturday, yeah, give me a quick, hey, give me a head nod. Hey, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna enjoy this game. Now, if this is 2 years ago, I wouldn't have had no problem getting press credentials. However, it's the D-Jack era. Everybody and their mama gonna be on the sidelines. So, hey, I understand it. I ain't even mad at it. It is what it is. I'm gonna just sit back and enjoy the game. I'm gonna holler at y'all. See y'all later. Oh, I'm gonna see y'all later on this week. Actually, episode 2 of breaking down the CIAA is coming out. Lots of highlights, lots of clips. We're gonna go through all the games that took place in the conference. I'll see you guys later on in this week.
Yeah, hot take is that the Bowie State Delaware State is a one possession game.
It's not really a hot take.
Yeah.
That game is gonna be tough.
All right. My hot take is that the Bowie State Delaware State is a one possession game.
It's not really a hot take.
Yeah.
That game is gonna be tough.
All right. My hot take is that the Bowie State Delaware State is a one possession game.
It's not really a hot take.
Yeah.
That game is gonna be tough.
All right.